back to my channel. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Paige, and today I am starting a new series on my channel where I tell you guys about the books that I've read for the month and what I think about them. So one of my goals for the year was to read 5 books a month, and I know that might not sound like a lot to some of you guys because some people can read like 7, 8, 9 books a month even, but for me, I work a full-time job, so I felt like 5 books a month was pretty doable if I really like the book and I just am getting to it. January did start off a little rocky for me, I won't even lie, but I'm just gonna say that's because I'm coming out of a reading slump, so this was like my little buffer month to really just see how everything goes. But I did read a couple books that I really liked and I want to chat to you guys about them, so let's get right on into this video. So one of the first books I read this month was actually a book that I listened to on audiobook. Spotify Premium now offers audiobooks, which is really awesome because I don't have Audible or anything like that just yet. I'm sure I will end up getting it eventually, but as of right now, I don't have it. So I saw that Spotify has audiobooks now. This is not sponsored. I wish it was, but it's not. But one of the books they had was Britney Spears's, is it Spears? Britney Spears. I don't know. One of the books they had was Britney Spears' autobiography, The Woman in Me. And so I was like, you know what? Let's start off the month. I was interested in reading the book and I wanted to see what it was about. So I gave it a listen. As far as autobiographies go, I thought it was pretty good. It was an easy listen. I think I finished it in like a day and a half, and honestly, if I had a full day to just listen to it, I would have finished it way quicker. I think the full audio was only like 5 or 6 hours. Each chapter was no longer than like 10 minutes. I think the longest chapters were only 10 minutes long. So it was super easy to read or listen to. Super easy to get through. My only thing with it, and you know what, this is probably my fault because I did see a lot of like discourse about the book on TikTok and online, so some of it was kind of spoiled for me in terms of like the things that happened between her and Justin Timberlake and some of the things that she exposed in the book. And because I wasn't one of the first people to get their hands on the book and get to all the juicy details, I feel like it just didn't reveal much to me that I didn't already know, especially as someone like myself who followed the Free Britney movement. And, you know, I feel like I kind of know quite a bit about Britney Spears, to be honest, just in terms of like her career, because I like Britney and I like her music. I didn't feel like I learned very much new information in the book or anything that I was like, whoa, like, you know, it was very shocking. And not that every autobiography has to shock me, but it was just like, oh, okay, like that's okay, you know? But like I said, it was really easy to get through and it was pretty short. So I thought definitely go listen to it on Spotify Premium if you have it, or if it's on Audible. I'm sure it's on Audible. Go listen to it. If you don't want to buy a physical copy. I thought it was a good book, and I don't know, but I thought it was good. Definitely go listen to it on audiobook and see what you think. Okay, and so next up, my beautiful friend Emily let me borrow her copy of Fourth Wing, which I need to get back to her and I will ASAP. But yes, so she let me borrow her copy of Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I really liked this book, you guys. I feel like this book was so, not even I feel like, this book, period, was so hyped up on TikTok and on social media to the point where I was like, do I want to read this book because it is so hyped? And I feel like the hype for this book is very well deserved. I love when people get excited about books. It reminds me of about a specific book or a book series in general. Like the same thing happened with ACOTAR, and I love to see that. It reminds me of like Twilight, Harry Potter era, when people were just feral for a good book series, and I love the vibe. And if you don't already know, Fourth Wing follows the main protagonist, Violet Sorrengail, who is the daughter of General Sorrengail, who is a military-esque war general. And Violet has trained her entire life to become a scribe, but a few weeks before it is time for her to test to be a part of the scribe quadrant, her mom drops the bomb on her that she will not become a scribe. She will actually be a writer like her older brother and sister. So from there, the action just gets going. And I really enjoyed this book. I don't want to give away too much because I feel like it's best to go into this series absolutely knowing nothing, because I did see a few spoilers on TikTok and I wish I hadn't before I went into it. I wish I just would have went into it blind. But there is, of course, a little enemies to lovers, so I'm sure you guys have seen that. But other than that, I really enjoyed the book. Honestly, truly, I enjoyed it. So next up, right after that, I started reading, actually, I think I ended up reading this first and then I read Fourth Wing, but either way, I read Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. I absolutely love this book. This was so good. This was my first book by Kennedy Ryan, and I will be checking out more in this series and just more from her as an author. I really, really enjoyed this book. Oh my gosh. Longshot is the first book in Kennedy Ryan's Hoop series that follows Iris and August. It is a dual POV between the two main characters, and Iris is an aspiring sports agent. She wants to work in the sports world, and Caleb is about to be drafted into the NBA, and their paths cross over the years, and Iris is also dating an NBA player as well, and you just see what happens after their paths continue to cross, and Iris is going through a tumultuous relationship. Now, this book does contain very heavy themes that can be triggering to some readers, so I would just read the trigger warnings before reading this book, because it does have a lot of heavy scenes and graphic violence. But I feel like Kennedy Ryan did an amazing job of just showing the love story. Honestly, at some points I really didn't even care about August. I only wanted to read Iris's story because her story was so heavy and so emotional, and you just really empathize with her and just want her to break free of the toxic relationship that she's in. And you just see like how she ends up finding herself, finding her voice, finding her confidence. And it really does show how someone who has, a good head on their shoulders, is confident, and has goals and dreams, could end up in a situation that completely derails their path, and how someone can deal with that. And I really enjoyed it. I feel like Kennedy Ryan wrote it so emotionally, and oh my gosh, I ate this book up. Like, I could not put it down. It was so good, and I would give this book 5 out of 5 stars. Definitely go check it out. Okay, and now last but certainly not least was Iron Flame, also by Rebecca Yarros, which of course is the second book in her series. This series is going to be 5 books once it's complete, but this is the second book. And as you guys can see, I have not finished this book at the time of filming this video. I have not finished this book. So here's the thing with Miss Iron Flame. Okay, when I started this book, I thought it was really good, obviously. Like, I was into it because the first book ends on a cliffhanger. Spoiler alert, sorry. But it does, as a lot of series do. It ends on a cliffhanger. So this one picks up, like, right where that book left off. And this book has some high moments, but I guess now that I'm at... because there are some very intense moments when they're going through training and people are trying to assassinate her, and it's very intense. Like, there's some moments that are really, really good. But at the point that I'm at in the book, I guess a little over halfway through, I just feel like it's kind of stalled out a little bit for me. And I am going to finish this book, of course, because I'm sure it will probably pick up again in the end. But it's just kind of slowed down quite a bit for me. And it's slowed down in a way where I feel like a lot of that fat could have been trimmed right off of this book. And in a lot of ways, the pacing of the romance in the first book was a little off, but I kind of overlooked it just because I like romance. So, like, I don't mind. Like, let's just get into it. But there are some things, like, with the romance and with the relational development in this book that just bother me. Like, it bothers me when characters, like, not to give too much away, but it bothers me in books when characters put their own feelings above like the pressing issue, because I feel like in real life, if you were going through some of these situations, like you wouldn't be like, at least for me, like I understand. Let me just say this. No one likes being lied to, okay? But if I'm being lied to like save my life and save like a million other people, like that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like the Violet like harps on things so much in this book that it kind of just got on my nerves at a point. Like, it was just irritating me. Like, I don't know. I just hate conflict between characters for the sake of having conflict. And I feel like the love interest there's like conflict between them to a point where it's just unnecessary. Like, you know, I don't know. But I don't think it's a bad book. Where I'm standing right now as I'm reading it, I would give it a 3 out of 5. But I haven't made it to the end, and I'm sure it'll pick up. So, yeah, that's Iron Flame. So thank you guys so much for stopping by my channel. I'm sorry I didn't have like a ton of books to go through, but I think, you know, I read some good books this month, and hopefully next month. I also started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad on audiobook, but because the month is already over pretty much, like, you know, I don't even have time to fit that in. But also good. The advice is very repetitive. I'll just say that. But anyway, thanks guys so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. I have some more movie review breakdown videos on the way, and I'm super excited to see you guys again. So I'll see you next week, and I lost my train of thought, but I'll see you next week. And yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.
Speed marker.
But a few weeks before conscription day, when it is time for her to join, those Iris and August, when it's spoilers on TikTok, and I really wish I hadn't before I actually, y'all hear that car? Good grief.